Hello, and welcome to Produce Talks, the CPMA podcast. I am your host and CPMA Education Manager, Jason Gorley. Before we get started, just a couple of things. You can subscribe to us on iTunes or the Google Play Store, and please subscribe, rate, review us, and help other people find us. You can also check out elearning.cpma.ca. There you can check out some of the courses that we're offering in Produce Basics and our new one, Produce Essentials, which you can sign up for right now. You can also check out upcoming webinars or podcasts that we are offering. Before we get to our podcast today, we are going to check in with Selena. Selena's here to tell us all about this month's Fresh Health Award winner. Hi, Selena.
Hi, Jason. Thanks for having me on again. I'm here to tell you that the winner for our Fresh Health January Award is Fresh Direct Produce. If you've visited their website, freshdirectproduce.com, recently, you'll see that Have Your Plate has a feature button right on the home page. Fresh Direct has also facilitated the implementation of Have Your Plate stickers on their trucks. Way to go, Fresh Direct! If you want to nominate someone for the Fresh Health Award, you can simply email me at skarkash@cpma.ca. If you'd like to see a list of all the winners, just go to haveyourplate.ca and search Fresh Health in the search bar.
And now on to part 2 of our conversation on ethnic and exotic produce. You'll find part 1 in November. We started our conversation with...
I'm George Pitsikoulis of Canadawide Fruit Wholesalers.
My name's Michael Baird. I work with Loblaw Companies Limited.
Hi, I'm Davis Young. I'm the president and co-founder of Fresh Direct Produce.
And we're discussing how ethnic and exotic produce has grown in Canada over the past few years and some of the influences that are behind that. We're also going to throw out some specific examples to the group and see what they think is behind why certain products are growing exponentially. So we're going to jump right into the middle of the conversation. If you haven't already, I suggest you go back and listen to part 1. Again, you can find it on iTunes or the Google Play Store, and it is November. It's Ethnic and Exotic Produce, part 1. George, what about you? Bringing a new product in and trying to introduce it to the market. How complicated do you find it?
Well, there's two sides to that. One is all the challenges, as Davis described, in making sure you're dealing with shippers that know all these requirements that we have, what type of experience they have. I mean, it's always helpful if they've done it before, but definitely there's been vast improvement also in terms of how well advised they are from wherever we may be sourcing overseas, but there's still room to go. The other side of it is getting it introduced over here as well in terms of trying to expose it not only to a niche market, but also to the customers at large. We as a company put together a Canadawide newsletter that goes out weekly. We put also together a Did You Know letter that goes out, I'd say, every other week. We put flyers together for all of our walk-in trade whenever there's a new product. And that's what we've done recently with a specific green that we're currently flying in actually from the island of Crete in Greece called Stamnagati. And by the way, we're selling that $120 a box, and we're going through a number of them. It's an unusual green. The item that resembles it the most is wild dandelion out of New Jersey, but it's much more delicate, more subtle, and much more interesting. And my father, who's 82 years old, by the way, is the one that's behind the marketing of that, getting everyone to try it, and everybody who walks in to look at a flower of it and look at the product, and that's taken off that way. So that's the other aspect, is marketing side, besides the difficulty in bringing in new products.
Just to echo what George was saying, getting here is all on the supplier, the marketing aspect. From a retailer's perspective, that's our biggest challenge in getting consumer awareness. Not only consumer awareness of what the product is, as well is colleague engagement at store, the knowledge about the product, how to treat it, how to handle it, when does it need to be pulled from the shelf, how to educate the consumer on what the product is and how to use it in order to gain traction on a new item. We bring in all these new items from these countries, and yes, it's a niche item and there is a growing consumer demand for it, but we're evolving there, but we're not fully there yet. So it's about trying to get our stores to understand what it is, what to do with it, and how to treat it. So from a retailer perspective, I would say that's the most challenging with new items and new programs. We are trying to do a detailed execution guide to stores, work with them weekly, monthly, go there, training, as well as do demos for consumers on these items to get it out there and get it understood and expose it.
I did some investigating on the Stats Canada import data, And it doesn't drill down to specific products, but it has kind of high-level categories for the most part. So what I wanted to do is I thought I would throw out some examples and get your thoughts on how this trend is moving. So these are given as value in current Canadian dollars. Fortunately, tonnage isn't an option, so it's just value in current Canadian dollars. The first one is value of the import of dates has almost tripled from 2011 to the end of 2015.
I think there's two sides to that. It's mostly, in my opinion, due to all the Middle Eastern migration into our country. That's something that's cultural and a regular part of their diet. And also how many more countries we're importing from. I mean, Tunisia, Algeria, Israel. And I mean, besides also having always been available from California. And that's the other side of it. The California growers' aggressive marketing campaign in developing the taste for this particular product. So I'm sure that as well had a lot to do with it, in terms of the increase in that particular product's popularity. There's also, within a new product, fresh dates, something that's just basically, they go through, if I understand correctly, there's some sort of maturity and curing aspect before we sell them as dates. But even an item like fresh dates that we sell, that look yellow, by the way, this is before they turn brown, even that is picking up more and more in popularity. It's an item that I personally first saw in Adonis stores, and these guys were bringing it in themselves, and now we sourced it ourselves because there's quite a bit of built-up demand from the rest of our customers that have stores in Arab areas.
I would echo that. The fresh yellow dates on the stem is becoming quite popular. I mean, I have several vendors reaching out periodically to go DSD to our stores, to the niche markets, the pockets that these items would be more relevant to. But just dates in general, as you mentioned, you go into a produce department today during Ramadan or specific holidays, and just you'll see a whole end bunker of dates. And retail has really changed over the years to embrace these multicultural holidays with the influx of immigrants into the country. 5, 7, 10 years ago, you would never have seen this in a traditional produce department. So, the data is there. I totally agree with where the trend's heading.
So pineapples are another example, and they've doubled the value of import just between 2014 and 2015. Pineapples have been around for a while, so what do you think might have caused this one?
I really think this one is more, the growth was more due to the demand, the supply side than the demand. I think the pineapples, since the days that we have the newer variety, the MD2 with the gold variety being available with much sweeter pineapples. I can't remember exactly what was the time. I still remember the green pineapples we had coming by boat.
No taste.
No taste, and then it came in. It's a beautiful piece of fruit for decoration, but I rather eat a canned pineapple than a fresh pineapple. But it's a different era on the pineapples. Nowadays, you get really, really good, tasty, sweet pineapples from Hawaii or Costa Rica or, many Central American or South American countries. I really believe from 2014, 2015, if I remember correctly, there was an extended period of time with a lot of supplies and with very low prices. And I really felt because of the increase in production and drive the promotion of the product. And this is, really push and pull in terms of the marketing side of things. I really think this is driven by the growers and the marketers of pineapple, that they had that supply, and then a lot went to the fresh market, and also a lot went to the fresh cut market. So an item like pineapples, I really feel if we go into, run some analysis, there could be a little bit more correlation in terms of price and sales, versus certain items may not be as much like bananas. It's really inelastic. Whether the prices go up a little bit more, people probably still eat the same amount. But, when the pineapples is $1 each or $2 each versus it's like $4 or $5 each, I think that could be having an impact on the consumption and the purchases. But I do remember vividly, like the pineapples, there were extended period of time, we were moving loads and loads of pineapples. But I think really, I would give credit to the growers or the marketers of pineapples back in the days that when, just an example of when there's a new variety or hybrid or developing this new product, make it actually better tasting, better shelf life, better appearance, the demand will go up on the category. So I really think this is kind of a lesson that I learned, that if we can help the growers to develop something better for the end consumers. If 25 years ago people were talking about pineapple steak, I don't think anyone will think it will be where it is today.
Another thing I would say that's feeding it too is the amount of value added that we do today. So we have pineapples, yes, but we have them in many different presentations, pre-cut, packaged. So that is increasing imports as well, as consumers don't have to do the work. They pick up the value added product. The taste is there, the quality is there, and it's propelling some of the growth as well, I would add.
I would say that specific to that year, I actually had a conversation with pineapple buyer over here, and he clearly remembers 2014 was a tough year for pineapples in terms of supply. It was hard to get any. So that increase in terms of that number was quite natural from that perspective. But as well, there's been a constant increase in consumption of pineapples for the different reasons just mentioned by both Michael and Davis. And it stems back to, as Davis was saying, there's MD2 variety, which they call, I think, also super sweet. Especially after the exclusive rights to growing that variety expired it used to be owned by Del Monte, and then every grower is basically able to get their hands on this particular variety, and after that 10-year expiration time, and it became much more reasonably priced and widespread, and you weren't able to sell those pineapples that just taste like wood, which were quite popular during different traditional pineapple holidays. Which mostly came, for our market at least, from Mexico. That's Cayenne variety is a thing of the past. It's all about this variety. I mean, with the flavor profile, which basically is something that you can never go wrong with. Every pineapple that you cut into and taste, I'd say 99.9% of them always have a really nice flavor to them.
And now it's time to take a quick break from the conversation to check in with our sponsor, Nature Fresh Farms. All right, and on the line we have Chris from Nature Fresh. Chris, what's happening at Nature Fresh?
Well, we're definitely in the thick of growing. We have just wrapped up this past week all of our plants going into our Leamington, Ontario greenhouses, and we're starting to see new life across all the commodities. Our first plants have gone in the middle of December, so we're now about 30 to 45 days in. And some plants are already starting to bud. Our bell peppers are starting to come to life. The fresh Ontario-grown bell peppers from Nature Fresh, probably towards the middle part of March. We've had a very, very successful planting so far, and across our 130 acres in Leamington. So we're really anxious to start seeing some fresh Ontario-grown products start to hit the streets in end of February, early March.
And are you guys gearing up for the Greenhouse Education Center already too?
Well, good question. We certainly are. It's amazing. The enthusiasm and support we have behind the Greenhouse Education Center. We did 105 different events in 2016, and we're looking to surpass that in 2017. We, again, have partnered with Loblaw here in Ontario, and we'll take part in their grower events throughout the month of April and May. And we'll make our way across the province throughout the entire summer right into the fall.
Great. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
And now back to our conversation on ethnic and exotic produce with Davis Young from Fresh Direct Produce, George Pitsikoulis from Canadawide Fruit Wholesalers, and Michael Baird from Loblaw. This last one, it's the big one. And since 2011, the value of import of guavas, mangoes, and mangosteens as a group together as a category has risen 2,018%.
We touched a bit about it on the top about the mangoes. Strictly the amount of variety available from the various countries has increased. We're importing from various countries now for various regions. Another thing that I wanted to touch on that's propelling some of the growth is the health benefits to the mainstream. You talk about what the uses are of these items and what they help with in terms of health benefits. It is increasing consumption as well. Consumers are getting on board with guava and mangoes and mangosteens for, vitamin C. It's also feeding into the growth we're seeing on these items.
Mangoes definitely is a good example to see how the growth can come in different ways. The assortment is being one, there are more different varieties of types of mangoes being available. And then also the availability throughout the year is another key factor. So pretty much in the days that, as George mentioned earlier, maybe the summertime is a lot of Mexican product, and then, wintertime, mostly South American product. But because of the availability of the different variety, we can get it year round. So now you extended the season to me in a much longer period of time over the year. And then the third thing I think is more critical is actually, I think this is one item really getting into the mainstream market. You've asked a lot of people, they know what mango is, they know how to cut a mango. You ask how many people have tried mango in the last, month or so. I think there are a lot of people have tried that. So that really is an item that is going into the mainstream through an extended period of time of education, of being available, and people have good experience from eating the product. So now I think the demand will stay there, and, can it grow even more? We'll see, but at least this is now, I wouldn't even consider in many ways is a specialty item anymore for mangoes. It's really one of the staples. When I go to the market now, doesn't matter a specialty store or just a regular supermarket, you will see mangoes pretty much on display year round, and usually it's more than one variety as well.
Mangosteen, I remember up until not that long ago, was an item that was only brought in from Southeast Asia. Now there's more and more production out of Mexico and Central America in larger formats. So not only is the actual product coming out to being cheaper FOB, it's also cheaper and easier and quicker logistics to bring it in. So definitely there's a huge increase in that particular item, the mangosteens. And getting to guavas, it's sort of a similar story. There's more and more coming out of Central America, Mexico, that area, as opposed to just flying some in from overseas that we used to.
Even Florida has a crop on them too.
On guavas, that's right.
I'm sure, and Davis has already shared one already, but I'm sure each of you has an interesting story about sourcing product and bringing it to the consumers. So maybe you could share a couple more with us?
I don't know if it's an interesting or funny story, but I think I already mentioned it a bit. What I've really focused on in the last 2 years is bringing this prepackaged program assortment to Loblaw. And launching it nationally, West and East, whether it be East Asian, Southeast Asian, Caribbean, Jamaican, all these different items that the consumers from these home countries are looking for in our stores. We've launched a program nationally with a couple of vendors to grow this assortment in our stores and show these consumers that we do have what they're looking for, and we are moving with their trends. I think Loblaw is well ahead of the curve in terms of mainstream retailers on moving with the trends of ethnic diversity in Canada.
Well, I'll go back to that Stamnagathi story. I mean, we're being of Greek origin and having traveled to Greece, mainly whenever I've traveled there, it's always been either sometime in the month of July or August. One of the popular side dishes is always this vlita, this boiled green, which is, let's say, the closest resemblance is to spinach, and it's always a side with most items that you eat there. Well, in 2012, my wife and I decided to go late September, and we asked for vlita. Oh, the season's over. But we have Stamnagathi. If you look at the direct translation of that, it's stamna is a well and agathi is a thorn. So it's a well thorn. So basically it's a green that they would grow that would sit on top of wells to act as a filter from bugs and dust into the well water. They tried it one time. It tasted good. They started cultivating it, and it became a popular green only on that island of Crete. If you talk to any other Greek from any other part of Greece, they didn't even know about it. So we started bringing it here, and we started bringing it here. When I came back that year, I told my father about it, and when he went back the following year, he started asking different growers, and he found a couple of guys, and we started bringing it here, and at this point, we can't even keep up. So that's, I guess, if you want to call it an interesting story.
Last thoughts on ethnic and exotic produce?
I would say that we are working towards getting the assortment right for our consumers with the trends that are we're moving in the Canadian landscape today. We've got a good program in the store today, which we're looking to expand on and work with our colleagues to grow ethnic produce and assortment in Canada.
I'd say, this trend is there's only one way it's going to continue going beyond the foreseeable future, which is onwards and upwards. Again, with the influx of migration and with people traveling and all the different shows, travel shows, cooking shows, and people wanting to try what they see. And over here at Canadawide, it's always been part of our mandate to be first to market with any new product, whether it's an ethnic product, a new variety of something even growing here in the Americas, a new type of pack style or anything. And a lot of our customers are tuned into that too. They're always looking to have something new than the usual items that they've always carried. They always want to impress their customers as well. And that's it. The growth is forever there. And also along with that is, we're talking about health benefits before, and I had this discussion with someone the other day, is like when I first started in this industry, I'd say, 20% of our plate was fresh produce, the rest was processed items and let's say some sort of meat. Now we're at 50. There's still a lot of potential, right, to get to 100%. So onwards and upwards.
I'm very excited with the growth in the ethnic exotic produce. Not just because of the business side, we're going to have more product available for the market, but I really feel food is a great way of bringing people together. If we look at the values of Canada, multicultural integration, I think by having more, fruits and vegetables from all over the world, making people feel, like home for people who recently come here or been here for a long time. At the same time, we educate, people who may not be familiar with some of this product. I'm not familiar with all this product. Like for me, it's exciting just to try some new produce item. And from there, you learn a lot more about the culture, the people, the experience, and I was just actually enjoying the story that George talked about, the product that he brought in from Greece. And it's stories like that bring people together. And I feel we have an opportunity with, as an industry to see beyond just the product itself. I am getting a little bit philosophical, but I really feel we are in a very good spot. And, it's a healthy industry. People eating more produce is good. But at the same time, if we can educate more, we can, make it really readily available for consumers. But I think it can be starting at the very root, grassroots level. Product we bring in, a lot of time we'll make sure, the staff try it. We'll have samples for customers who come in. It's just really for people to get excited about it. And so nowadays it's so easy with pictures and samples and all this. And I said, it doesn't matter customers buying or not. Just send some samples to them and let them try. And I think at the retail level it will be the same. If we can get the staff to be excited about trying something new themselves first, and then now they can really preach to the rest of the world. And to me, it's beyond just produce. It could be any other food items. But since we are in this industry, I think we had the opportunity and in some way the responsibility to bring this to everyone everywhere we service the market.
And that's it. That's all that we have for you this month on Produce Talks. Before we go, I just want to let you know, if you are listening and you are interested in becoming a member of CPMA, maybe you want to participate in some of the networking events that we have at our convention and online, some of the advocacy work that we do to streamline processes and address border issues, or simplify your business by avoiding potential issues with shipping your product using our Doing Business in Canada tool or our complimentary label review service. You can find out that information by going to cpma.ca, or you can phone the CPMA office, and Lise will be more than happy to talk to you about membership. All right, everybody. I'd like to thank George, Michael, Davis for being on our podcast and providing us with that valuable information. I know that I learned a lot, and I certainly hope that you did too. I'd like to thank Selena for joining to tell us about the Fresh Health Award winner. Again, congratulations to Fresh Direct for winning the award this month. And I'd like to thank you for listening. You can rate and review us on iTunes or the Google Play Store. Or if you just want to drop us a line and tell us how we're doing, you can email us by emailing podcast@cpma.ca. I would love to hear from you. Till next time, make a healthy choice. Fill half your plate with fruits and veggies.
You will now be disconnected by the moderator.